Flight delays and cancellations can be frustrating and disruptive. You might even be in the airport right now waiting out a flight delay. That's definitely annoying. But the good news is you may be entitled to compensation. I'm Sally French, a travel expert at NerdWallet. Let me give you the lowdown on flight cancellation and delay compensation in the US and walk you through the steps to ensure you get what you're owed. The big thing to note is that this video applies to flight delays and cancellations in the US specifically, and both are treated differently. If your flight is canceled, you're entitled to a full refund if you don't accept a rebooking. That is no matter the airline, and it's a federal rule, so airlines must comply. Some airlines try to make you think you can only accept a travel voucher, but the reality is you are entitled to a full refund to the original payment method. There's really no benefit to taking this voucher. After all, a cash refund can be used for anything, while the voucher is really only valuable on future flights, of which you may never take given this airline. Of course, if you do allow the airline to rebook you on another flight, you won't be able to double dip and get both the refund and the rebooking. Sorry. Now, with delays, the policies are not so generous. In the US, airlines are not legally required to compensate passengers for delays. However, many airlines do offer compensation voluntarily, especially for long delays or if it was their fault, such as a mechanical issue. Make sure you know what your airline's policy is before assuming you're not eligible. There is a dashboard on the US Department of Transportation website featuring every major US airline and their own policies around delays. Some will rebook you on other partner airlines, but that doesn't work if the airline doesn't have any partners. Some offer meal vouchers. Alaska, JetBlue, and Southwest all promise to give travel vouchers if you have to wait for more than 3 hours from the originally scheduled departure time. Typically, the higher rated the airline, the more generous the policy. For example, every major US airline except Frontier promises to offer complimentary hotel accommodations and ground transportation there and back to the airport for overnight cancellations. Now, considering Frontier won't even give you a free soda on the flight, perhaps that's no surprise. Bookmark that dashboard before you travel so you know what your rights are. That dashboard exists on transportation.gov. You can also typically find this information on the airline's own website as well as on nerdwallet.com. And even within those delay policies, not all delays are treated the same. For example, if your flight is delayed due to weather or air traffic control issues, the airline may say they are not responsible for the delay, in which case compensation is unlikely. However, if the delay is caused by the airline itself, such as mechanical issues or crew shortages, you probably have a stronger case for compensation. Okay, so assuming your flight has been delayed or canceled, what do? It is important you document everything now. Save your boarding passes, take screenshots of any delay notifications, keep any receipts for expenses you incur because of the delay. This includes meals, hotel stays, even if you bought some new toothpaste because it was in your checked luggage. This documentation can be crucial if you decide to request compensation from the airline. Speaking of asking for compensation, you can do this in many ways, including speaking directly to the airline staff at the airport, calling the airline's customer service, or submitting a compensation request through their website. Always be polite but firm and reference the airline's delay policy when you make your case. If you're at the airport right now, head to the customer service desk. I've done this before and it's enabled me to get a voucher to use on an airport meal. Often customer service employees have a fair amount of autonomy in what they can offer you. I definitely recommend being kind to the customer service employees. Once I witnessed someone storm out. Meanwhile, I walked away with not only that meal voucher, but also a $300 travel voucher for what amounted to a 6-hour delay. Now, I still would have preferred no delay, but at least I got what I felt like was a fair consolation prize. Again, this is where you might request additional compensation, such as covering the cost of a hotel if it's an overnight delay or transportation. Always ask about these additional benefits, especially for delays that cause major disruptions. Now to kind of pivot, let's talk about getting compensation from parties other than the airline. The big one I'm thinking of is your credit card company. Many travel credit cards come with trip delay insurance, which can cover expenses like meals, lodging, transportation, if your flight is delayed beyond a certain time frame. Usually credit card companies say it needs to be 6 hours or more. Check your credit card's benefits guide to see if you're even eligible for compensation through your credit card. Typically, you do have to have paid for the flight on that card to even be eligible. And of course, NerdWallet has extensively reviewed these cards. Visit nerdwallet.com for the most up-to-date list of best credit cards that offer travel insurance for trip delays or cancellations. Now, there is a small chance the airline might refuse to provide compensation and you still believe you're entitled to a refund. You can escalate the issue. One option is to go and file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Transportation. You can also get help with that by using third-party services that specialize in helping passengers claim compensation for delays, though keep in mind these guys typically take a portion of your payout as a fee for their service. Now, to recap, the best way to secure compensation for a delayed flight is to know your rights, check the airline's policies, and from there, keep detailed documentation, including receipts, as you ask for compensation. While U.S. airlines are not legally required to compensate for all delays, many will offer something if the delay is their fault. And of course, you are always entitled to a full refund for a cancellation if you opt to not get rebooked. For more travel tips and information on passenger rights, be sure to visit nerdwallet.com. Plus, like and subscribe this video to keep more coming.